Hi there, Jason Miller here, and this is my video channel, The Truth and Stuff. It's January 16th, 2022, and this is going to be a video about the show Dexter. I'm going to answer some really important questions in this video. It might be two videos because I'm going to try to keep this short, but the big questions really is how did the filmmakers screw up the New Blood, final season and the finale so badly? I'm going to give you some possible answers, some possibilities to the to that question, and I'm going to give you, and then we're going to talk about what's the future of Dexter, because I've got some ideas about that I think are pretty interesting, and I think that you'll like to hear it, and I think that could be quite brilliant, could really offer some recompense to this terrible final season, and I think the filmmakers might have some things in store for you, some secrets coming up. I'm hoping, but maybe we'll dig into all that. So let's first get into the big question of how did the filmmakers screw up New Blood so badly? Especially the finale, because look it up. It's now the most watched show in Showtime network history. The most watched. That's what you call a tent pole in the business. That's what it holds up your entire organization, shows like Dexter does. The most watched, the most beloved show in the history of the franchise. So, and then you can look it up too. It got the worst ratings. The finale got the worst ratings of any show in the franchise as well. People, the fans hated it. Like, not universally, but more so than any other show by far. And, so we're going to ask, see if we can figure out why or how they screwed it up so badly, because they had to, it's almost inexplicable how they could have screwed it up so badly, but I think I might have some explanations for you. So let's get into that. Number one, they simply screwed up. This is the first possibility. They simply screwed up, okay? People get old. People are fallible. They're flawed, right? They're human. They can get carried away with themselves. They can become pretentious. They could refuse to listen to their focus groups, which are just groups of people who kind of, watch the episodes and make sure it's all going in a good direction that people like, and they're not making any screw ups, stuff like that, and it seems to me that that's what's actually happened. The most beloved show in the network history, they could have really pulled out all the stops for this, gotten the best writers, the best, gear, the best director and camera operators, and the best cast, for the big bad guy in this finale farewell season, they really should have gotten an A-list actor. Now Kurt, the guy who did play the big bad guy, he's not exactly A-list, but he was tremendous. He was about as good as you could possibly ask for, and probably the best part of the New Blood season. He was creepy and really good, really, really well done. But still, why not get Tom Hanks or Russell Crowe or, I don't know, Will Smith, or some A-lister to play that part, because this is the farewell, this is the big going out bash. And I think that that goes for a lot of the supporting characters as well. Like Angela, I love Jessica Jones. She, you know, she was perfect. She's one thing I wouldn't probably change. She was just so wonderful. But you know, Harrison was strong actor, semi-strong, not that strong. They certainly could have gotten someone better. Um, anyways, I didn't want to get into that too much, but again, I think they just, you know, one possibility is they simply screwed it up. That happens, okay? And that does seem like what did happen. But let's get into the second possibility. So, could they have known it was going to be that bad and did it on purpose? Sabotaged the show, in essence, right? Which means they did the show badly on purpose. And I can only think of a couple of reasons, or one real reason that they would have done that, and that is because they were, you know, they felt they weren't treated right by the network. That Showtime maybe didn't pay them well enough, or, you know, give them enough of a budget for the final season, and so they wanted to, you know, they kind of kept most of that money and skimped on the writers. You know, the producers kept the money, which includes Michael C. Hall, and, you know, skimped on, you know, a lot of different aspects of production, like the cast and the writers and the camera and, you know, the locations. All this stuff cost money. And maybe they decided that they were just gonna, you know, do the kind of typical Hollywood sequel thing where they just really cash in and make the show terrible, which I think would be a really, really sad deal. And I think that that also might have happened. You know, I don't think they necessarily screwed it up on accident, or on purpose, but they did, you know, skimp on a lot of production quality, you know, and pre-production quality writing, right? I thought the post was pretty good, so didn't necessarily skimp on that, but you know, so that's option number 2 is sabotage, and it's a possibility. I don't know that that would have happened, but it's possible. You know, another little caveat I'd add to that is that, you know, it's possible that the show was some propaganda, just that, you know, if you haven't noticed, media's changed quite a lot in the last 5, 6, 7 years, and it's gone from really entertainment oriented to more propaganda oriented, and otherwise they want to push an idea on you, and they definitely push some ideas in this new season, you know, like the climate change crap, you know, the evil capitalist billionaire red herring guy who was like polluting the earth and stuff. You know, they put in a couple of jabs about that, and you know, but more significantly, I think if it were me, so, you know, if I were me and I was an evil overlord and in control of a network and on this big propaganda kick, the way the entire media is now, not just the media, but, you know, Hollywood, I would probably have said, listen, okay, we're gonna, you know, we don't want any vigilantes right now. We don't want vigilantes looking cool because, you know, we're trying to control these people. We don't want them acting out, you know, and when I say these people, I'm talking about all of us. You know, so I would have, you know, Dexter was basically miserable and, you know, upset and sad and down and, you know, really frustrated and just, and the whole show. And in the end, he was put to death. You know, that was his reward for all his vigilanteism throughout the show, and you know, according to New Blood. And so, you know, it's possible that that was propaganda. Get people to think, no, you know, it's not cool to do anything against the system because this is what happens to you. I think that's possible, and I think that actually did happen to some extent. So that's not so much sabotage as it is just the, you know, a common sentiment for media today. You know, people just don't enjoy it near as much because it's aimed much more at propaganda and social control, you know, than it is entertainment. And that did happen. You know, so the third option of how did they screw this show up so bad is actually kind of interesting. And, you know, I think it's possible that they have some recompense in mind, okay? Which means they're going to try to make good on, you know, all the serious holes and unanswered questions in New Blood, okay? You know, I mean, I don't want to get into that too much because I'm going to do another video on that right after this. But, you know, just the holes of Batista rolling into town when the show ends, you know, we don't get that kind of payoff. The holes of who was Harrison, you know, really, who was Harrison really? Because all we really know about Harrison, you know, except from everything from the first 8 seasons, is that he was raised by Hannah, who was a murderer, you know, a serial killer. And, you know, beyond that, all we know is what Harrison showed us and told us in the new season of New Blood. And so, you know, I think there's a really interesting possibility there that they could, you know, have either maybe already shot some episodes that are in the can and are going to come in and fill in all those holes, like who was Logan, who was Harrison really, you know, how was Kurt ahead of, you know, Dexter so often, and, you know, maybe why did Dexter abstain from his vigilante work for the previous 10 years? We kind of have answers to that in the previous seasons. You know, he'd kind of become a human being, which makes it strange because in New Blood, they re-entered that, you know, that character arc of he's a monster and, you know, he can't control it and he's a sociopath and all that, but which is ridiculous because he controlled it for the last 10 years, you know. Anyways, yeah, so the possibilities are that, you know, they either, you know, simply screwed up the final season, or they sabotaged it, or they planned some recompense. Now, the next video is going to be about Dexter's future, Dexter's possible futures, and I'm going to answer some of those questions for you. So please do check out that next video, okay? All right, I'm Jason Miller. This is The Truth and Stuff, and this is a review on the show Dexter, and trying to answer the question of how did the filmmakers screw up New Blood and the New Blood finale so badly. Okay, so thank you so much.